The Pickup, the latest Eddie Murphy movie to hit Prime Video, starring Eddie Murphy, of course, Pete Davidson, and Keke Palmer. And in this movie, we follow two armored truck security guards who are attacked by hijackers while en route to their delivery, when things suddenly take an unsuspected turn, making them out to be the very criminals who threatened their lives to begin with. This is a movie that was never on my radar. I didn't even know that this thing was coming out, but scrolling through Prime Video and seeing Eddie Murphy drop the new movie, I was definitely gonna check that out, especially because I think that Pete Davidson can be funny in some moments, and Keke Palmer is a phenomenal actor. So I definitely thought that I would give this a shot. And after watching it, I mean, I'm kind of in the middle with this one. I mean, this movie is not perfect, but it has its moments. And instead of kind of giving this a more formal type of review, I suppose, I'm gonna just talk about my experience and what I think of the movie and the vibes of this movie, which is kind of what I figured it was gonna be, which is dumb fun. It's a dumb fun action comedy. And let me tell you, having these two guys together, like Eddie Murphy and Pete Davidson, it has its funny moments. And with their banter going back and forth, a lot of these comedic moments work. Pete Davidson really feels kind of like Pete Davidson. He's this dumb and completely unfiltered idiot, but there's really not much depth there. There's really nothing to dig into. And while he does have his funny moments and shows a little bit of intellect, being like a math whiz, a lot of the times it's really just this raunchy humor. And again, it's Pete being Pete. And to be fair with you, I kind of feel the same about the entire cast, because even in this movie, Eddie Murphy feels kind of like a dialed down version of himself. Now, it is Eddie Murphy, so there's obviously going to be funny moments, and it is quite the funny dynamic between Eddie being this older guy who's really just wanting to get his job done and go home so that he could be with his wife. And now he has to end up training this new guy who won't shut up and is very obnoxious and constantly irritating. It does make for some laughable moments, but in all honesty, it's really not anything that I find to be standout comedy. And unfortunately, I feel that way about Keke Palmer and her performance as well. Her as the antagonist of this movie is just more of the same. Now, don't get me wrong, she delivers well, but I found it really hard to find her believable as this sort of villain, and a lot of her performance was just feeling like Keke being Keke. Now, as a character, she does have believable motivation for what she is doing, why she is doing it, but I just didn't believe her as this criminal mastermind that put this big plan into place. I will say that Keke does have pretty good comedic timing and some funny lines that I feel might suit her ability just a little bit more, with honestly a decent mixture of some serious moments that I think she plays really well. The action in this movie I found to be decent. There were moments that felt high in intensity. The fight choreography in this movie was put together well, and it was definitely entertaining. Driving sequences that felt like they were a rip from a Fast and Furious movie, and overall was appropriate and enjoyable for what I think the movie was. But even in that category, again, there was nothing spectacular, nothing that would put this movie in my top 10 of action comedies. However, when it comes to these fight sequences, I think that a lot of the enjoyment comes from the camera angles and the shots that they were able to capture while doing these scenes. Being able to follow this action despite happening in a vehicle most of the time, they managed to do it pretty well. But when it comes to The Pickup, I think that this movie meets the standard of a dumb fun movie that has high moments of comedy, but also isn't anything crazy, isn't anything spectacular. Eddie Murphy and Keke Palmer, they have a great track record of great movies, and it's not so much to knock them because I think that they're both fantastic. But at the end of the day, a lot of this movie felt like it was a bit phoned in. If you don't have Prime Video, I don't think that this is the movie to push you or motivate you to go get it. But if you do have Prime Video and maybe you can't find anything to watch and you want to just have a good laugh here and there, I think it's worth throwing on in the background and getting a few chuckles out of it. I'll tell you what, I'll watch this movie again before I watch War of the Worlds. That's pretty much all I got to say about The Pickup, man. If you did see the movie, let me know what you thought about it. And if you made it to the end of this video, I really appreciate that. Thank you. And if you did like the content, please hit that like button so we could push this video out to more people. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. That way you don't miss any of the future content that comes out. But with that being said, man, y'all stay geeked. I'm out of here, and be smooth.